Ah, hey guys, before we start today, I think I'm gonna have a little snack. Kinda hungry. Apple. I like apples. You want some? Okay, here. I'll give you half. What? This isn't half? You're right, it's not. Let's talk about what half would be. Here, I'll give some to you. You want it? Silly goats. The goats that will eat my paper don't want to eat my apple. We'll see if they want it later. Okay, so let's talk about fractions. I was thinking about it because when I read that book, The Teacher from the Black Lagoon, one of the kids said, "We haven't learned about fractions yet." And so then she ate half of the boy, and I thought, wait a minute, I haven't taught you guys fractions yet, so I need to do that. When we talk about fractions, our big star ideas are going to be the what of fractions, the vocabulary, some vocabulary. There's some words that we talk about with fractions that we don't talk about when we talk about other things. And how to do it. Now we're going to have to do more than one fraction video because there's actually a lot of really interesting things about fractions. But we're going to start with this, okay? So first of all, what is a fraction? What a fraction is equal parts of a whole. That's why when I went to give you 1 out of 4 of my pieces of apple, you felt cheated because you knew that wasn't a half. That wasn't an equal part of 2, okay? If I were to offer you an equal part of 2, this is a half. Fractions are equal parts of a whole. Let's think about the word fraction. See how similar it is to the word fracture? Have you heard that word before? Let's look at some pictures of some things that are fractured. Like a fractured bone, a fractured windshield, and some fractured rocks. Do you notice something that all of those things have in common? They all used to be whole, and now they're broken into pieces, okay? So a fraction is a piece of a whole. Now when we talk about fractions, some important vocabulary is numerator and denominator. When we write a fraction, we've got this line. On top is the numerator, and on bottom is the denominator. You can remember that because when you have something new, ding, 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 you put it on top. That is brand new. Woo! And the denominator, what are you trying to, there's something on my jeans that the goat's licking off. The denominator is deep in the basement, okay? So this is your house, and here's ground level, and the denominator is deep in the basement, okay? Numerator, new on top, denominator, deep in the basement, okay? Now, what those things define is really important, what they mean. The denominator is the total number of parts or pieces, and the numerator is the part you're focused on. So, for instance, if I have a pizza and I cut it into 2 pieces, there's a total of 2 pieces. So 2 would be in the denominator. And if I'm focusing on one of them, then 1 would be in the numerator. And the fraction that would represent this piece of pizza would then be 1/2. We're looking at 1 piece of a pizza that's been cut into 2 pieces, okay? The denominator on the bottom tells us the total number of parts or pieces. The numerator on top shows us what we're focused on, okay? So to look at another example, if I were to have a pizza, dun, 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 and cut it into 3 pieces, then each piece would represent 1/3, okay? Because it is still 1 piece of pizza, but this pizza has been cut into 3 pieces. And that's important because we can see 1/2 and 1/3 They look very different. Those are different sizes pieces of pizza. Why are you chewing on me today? Oh goodness, Ali. Okay, so how do we do this then? Okay, first we count the total parts. And we're going to put that on the bottom. That's our denominator. Let's look at another example here. I've got shapes. And I'm going to ask a question. What fraction of these shapes is blue? Okay? First we have to count the total parts. Well, how many shapes are there all together? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 shapes. Ali, I fed you already. There are 12 shapes all together. That is going to be our denominator. Our denominator is 12. That's the total number of shapes. Then we're going to count the number of shapes we're focused on. Since I asked about blue, we now need to count the blue shapes. 1, 2, 3, 4 blue shapes. So our numerator is, oh stop it, what are you doing? Okay, our numerator is going to be 4. 4/12 of these shapes are blue. So we counted the total parts, that's our denominator. We counted the parts we were focused on, that's our numerator. And then we set it, 4/12. That's how you say a fraction. You say the top number, you say the numerator, then you say the denominator. And when we say that denominator, we say it like an ordinal number. That's something you probably haven't heard before, but like how we say third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Here it's twelfths, all right? There's a little bit of variation there. For instance, when I talked about this pizza, and I said it was 1/2, I didn't say it was 1 second, right? It is 1/2. That is one difference. This we call a half. The other one that's a little bit of a difference, oops, I'm losing my pizzas, is if we have a pizza that is cut into 4 equal pieces, then each piece would represent what? Let's think about it. How many total parts or pieces? 1, 2, 3, 4. So our denominator has to be a 4. And if we're looking at one of them, our numerator is going to be a 1. So each piece of pizza is going to be 1/4. So that's the way that we were talking about it before, like 1/12, 1/4. But it could also be called a quarter, 1/4. Okay, so 1/2 is a half. 1/4 is either 1/4 or a quarter. Oh, goodness. All right, now, there's more to talk about with fractions, and we'll do that in the next video. But I wanted you to get some basics here. I wanted you to understand that a fraction, like something that is fractured, is a part of a whole. Okay? Just like when we cut a pizza up, we have pieces instead of a whole pizza. We have a fraction of the pizza. Okay? The vocabulary I want you to remember is numerator, something new is on top, and denominator, deep in the basement. The denominator tells us the total number of parts or pieces, and the numerator, hey, she just ate my denominator. Numerator is the number we're focused on. So how do we do it? We count the total parts, that's the denominator. We count the parts we're focused on, that's the numerator. Then we say it. Say the numerator, 4. Say the denominator in an ordinal number, 4/12. Okay? Check out fractions next video to learn more.